Welcome into Seattle Seahawks Today. I am your host, Tom Downey, and please don't blame me for this very first rumor we're going to talk about. It is not my fault. I do not condone it, but it is out there. Trading away Russell Wilson. Well, NFL teams tried. Ian Rappaport says that multiple NFL teams called the Seahawks about trading for Russell Wilson. Now, this next part might surprise you, but Seattle said no, because you don't move on from a top 5, top 10, top whatever NFL quarterback when you have one locked up. Also, just to throw in on this, by the way, Russell Wilson has a no-trade clause in his contract, so I doubt he wants out of Seattle anyway. So that was the little news drop bomb that Ian Rappaport laid on us earlier this morning. We have to bring it up, right? Like, you have to mention this. There's no reason. There's no rational explanation other than we're going to blow it all up and suck for 5 years for the Seahawks to be like, yes, let's listen to your Russell Wilson trade offer. You don't move on from a player of Russell Wilson's caliber unless you botch it so horrifically like Houston Texans have done that the quarterback wants out, or you're a poorly led organization like, I don't know, the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott, for example. So as a show for the people, get your votes in. Would you trade Russell Wilson? Type in N for no, or type in N for hell no. There's no reason whatsoever to move on from Wilson here. So get your votes in, N or N. Now let's talk to Jadeveon Clowney, ESPN 710 Seattle. I know you guys are already mad at me. Just deal with it. Discussed a possible reunion. They came to the conclusion of, probably not the best idea, and I am also inclined to agree for a couple different reasons. Number one, Clowney this year, not good. 8 games, he missed some time, had surgery on his left meniscus, and missed the rest of the year, and 4 tackles for loss, 0 sacks, by the way. Clowney, once again, consistently generated pressure, but the past couple years for Clowney, and for most of his NFL career, frankly, he's been great at getting pressure, but has been unable to turn those pressure into production and into sacks, and that's a big deal when it's consistent. If it's a one-year thing, you think they'll bounce back. That's not been the case for Clowney. And you know what? Money matters too, right? I am of the mindset that Clowney, given the way he acted last offseason, is still going to be pushing for a pretty expensive contract this offseason, and that matters when you have Carlos Dunlap for now on your roster at $14-ish million, when Benson Mayo is a free agent, when you're hoping Darrell Taylor comes back and LJ Collier bounces back. In the end, unless Clowney is going to be like, yeah, I want to go back to Seattle and I'll just take any offer you give me, I don't really think there's a lot of interest from the Seahawks perspective. But get your votes in. This one a true for the people and by the people answer. Should Seattle re-sign Clowney? This is the pinned comment. So if you get the ad break, scroll on down, get your votes in. Type 1 for yes or type in 0 for no. I thought a good point made by Jake Heaps there on ESPN 710 was, why would you re-sign Clowney when you could bring back Benson Mayowa and he probably wouldn't be as expensive either? That is a very intriguing move to me if you're the Seahawks. He was more productive than Clowney was last year. 7 tackles for loss, 6 sacks. Yes, it came in roughly twice the games, but still more production. He's not going to be commanding ridiculous money like Clowney was last offseason. So from that perspective, factoring in the production and the cost, I think Mayowa does make some more sense. So get your votes in. You can only pick one guy. Who are you going after? Type BM for Benson Mayowa or type in JC for Clowney. All right, back to Russell Wilson now. Some better, happier news here. Man of the Year winner, that is Russell Wilson. He was named the NFL's Walter Payton Man of the Year on Saturday. He becomes the second Seahawk in team history to actually win the award. And this shouldn't be a massive surprise. Like, Russell Wilson is one of the best people in the NFL. Like, obviously, he's one of the best quarterbacks out there. But unquestionably, is one of just the best people. The way he gives back with both his time and his money to the community. That's impactful. So Wilson was absolutely deserving of the award. I'm glad to see the NFL, recognize Wilson for his contributions there. Plenty of deserving candidates around the NFL, but Wilson absolutely was one of those guys. Again, the second Seahawks to ever win the award. So congrats to Wilson, well earned, and I'm sure he's going to continue to help out the community in every way possible. Now, today's show is made possible by our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code you see on screen. That is Seahawks 125. When you put down $100, You get an extra $125 for free on top of that. My advice is put some money on the Super Bowl, for example. That's a great thing to bet on. chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Seahawks125. That deposit bonus gives you extra money just in case you end up getting some bets wrong, like somebody did, not pointing fingers, me, on Russell Wilson to win NFL MVP this past year. Let's talk free agency now for Seattle. How about signing Sammy Watkins? Interesting idea. Named a free agent target, playing in, of course, the Super Bowl later tonight by Sports Illustrated. On one hand, I get it. Seattle could use a third wide receiver option. Like he can come in, and now you've got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and Sammy Watkins, and oh man, that's a dynamic 1-2-3 punch there. I do wonder what the cost for Watkins is going to end up being. He was not very productive this past year. 37 catches, 421 yards, 2 scores. Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce dominated, of course, for the Chiefs' passing offense. And he's been banged up a lot, but the NFL has always liked him quite a bit. I thought the deal he got from KC was surprisingly high. So with that in mind, I do think Watkins would be a significant upgrade at the wide receiver 3 spot. You let David Moore leave in free agency, you pay Watkins, and now you can truly allow Russ to cook with a Metcalf, Lockett, Watkins trio. That's up there with one of the best ones in the NFL. Now, SI also mentioned some other free agent targets I wanted to briefly mention here. Daniel Kilgore and Clutch Assembly on the offensive line. I'm on board with that. Help out your O-line. They're both older players, but shouldn't break the bank. And Ndamukong Suh, not the first time we've heard him linked to Seattle. Steve McClendon, a cheaper option, probably behind Poona Ford as that nose guard. Leonard Fournette, someone we did mention on the show as well. If he's cheap, sure. In the end, if they're cheap, I'm always interested. But the cost, I think, could be an issue for a couple of those guys and for Sammy Watkins as well. So what do you guys think? Should Seattle at least try to sign Sammy Watkins this offseason? Type S for sign or type in P for pass. Now, whatever Seattle ends up doing, or even what they're rumored to do, we will break it down for you guys here on Seattle Seahawks Today. Almost daily videos for you guys on everything going on around the Seahawks. And yes, we will do plenty of draft stuff as well. So if you want to stay up to date, hit that big red button and subscribe today. Let's go to DJ Reed now, and potentially him replacing Shaquille Griffin. So former Seahawks receiver Michael Bumpus, who does some stuff for the local ESPN radio station up in Seattle, says, well, the team doesn't need Shaquille Griffin if he's going to command $14 million. You got DJ Reed. And although I agree with him that I was very impressed by DJ Reed, I like the move to pick him up off of injured waivers by the Niners, but even I wasn't expecting this caliber of year out of Reed. He was much better than I thought he was going to, especially for a player who, historically speaking, does not fit the Seahawks' typical mold when it comes to a corner. So yes, I feel good about DJ Reed being a potential starter for you if you're the Seahawks. What gives me pause here is that is DJ Reed a number 1 corner? I don't think so. I think if he's your number 2, you probably are fine with it like you were this year. But it's not just Shaquille Griffin who's a free agent. Quentin Dunbar is a free agent. I don't think you can enter even just the draft with DJ Reed, Trey Flowers, Marquise Blair, Ugo Amadi, and the Stevenses and Stanleys of the world. That's not going to get it done at corner. So yes, I am down to have DJ Reed be a starter for you. But he can't just be the only answer to what are you doing at cornerback this offseason. Your 2 best guys are free agents. Marquise Blair's coming off of injury. You got to find another option. I don't know if that's in the draft. I think it should at least be free agency in some capacity. I don't think you can just go, yeah, we don't got to pay any of our guys and just roll with DJ Reed and Trey Flowers. I think that's a bad idea. So we'll see what Seattle ends up doing. I do think Reed's a part of the franchise in a key role next year, but they got to find more help at corner. Reed and everyone else currently under contract is not enough for this team.